This is Potentially Brilliant with Mark Ian Griffin. Inspiring, motivating, and educating entrepreneurs and professionals to break through barriers and see higher levels of success in life. There is brilliance in you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Potentially Brilliant Radio. This is Mark Ian Griffin, your host. I am really excited to have you listen on and become a part of this growing culture that's called Potentially Brilliant. Now, you may be wondering what Potentially Brilliant is. Why do I call this Potentially Brilliant? The whole idea, the whole premise, the whole vision is to inspire. We want to inspire. We want to motivate. We want to educate. We want to give hope to those entrepreneurs out there who are up and coming, those who are just coming out the gate, those who have already been, making money, and just here again give inspiration to each of those individuals. I think if I have to be honest, I think we'll probably be speaking more to those who are just getting out the gate and just kind of getting their stride, but hopefully everyone will find value in what we have to offer. So I'm going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to have a couple of guests. I'm actually thrilled to have guests, to tell you the truth. But I really love the fact that as I'm talking to people, they really love the idea of being able to help others. So, if you get a chance, subscribe to us on whichever venue you're listening to. This, whether it's TW3 Radio, whether it's one of the podcast stations, on social media. Please subscribe, share the broadcast, and always feel free to contribute. If you are a breaker, and what I mean by a breaker is someone who has broken out of their shell. Yes, we all have shells. We're all potentially brilliant. I'm talking directly to you. You do have brilliance in you. I don't care what anyone has ever said about you. I don't care what kind of failures you've had. I don't care. I don't care, because everybody who has been successful has gone through failures. Now there is this lie out there that tells us that because we have failed at something, that we're a failure, that we're not going to achieve much, and God forbid you talk to someone who has a regular job. Right? Because in their mind, the job is security, the job is what's normal, the job is what a person needs to do. So if you fail at something, you might be doing something wrong. No, you, my friend, are closer to success. You're closer to success. Learn. You don't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. You don't ride a bike without falling. Failure is necessary for success. Okay. So if someone says something, and you know what, don't even waste your time messing around with people who are those naysayers, those people who are keep telling you that it's not going to work, because it will work. Okay. Now I will say this: make sure that you're following a mentor. Make sure that you're getting education. Make sure that you're getting advice. Make sure that you are changing what you're doing so that it becomes in line with those people that you are seeing being successful in entrepreneurship. So sometimes that requires a little bit of hunting. Sometimes that requires a little bit of just being bullheaded and just have that determination not to quit. Because as long as you don't quit, you still win. All right. As long as you don't quit, you still win. All right, and take that to heart. Man, so I want you to be a breaker. I want you to be a person that breaks out of that shell, whether it's fear, whether it's some sort of habit that you might not be working. We're gonna have one guest ahead that's gonna talk about how, she had this mindset that she was not a morning person, and she did something pretty cool, something kind of outside the box to change that in her, so that, and when she saw levels of success. Why? Because she changed what she was doing. She didn't just accept it as that's what she was, or that's who she was. So yeah, you got to get those mentors. Make sure you're reading. Oh my gosh. And all through the show, you're going to hear about different books that different people are reading, different people are advising you to get. Make sure you have a pen and paper handy. You're going to get some tips, and they're going to come fast and furious. On this show, success is not taught, it's caught here. We may talk about one subject and then switch to something else, but we're going to share some things that are very beneficial to your success as an entrepreneur. Hang tight. We're going to have a couple sponsors, and then we're going to move forward to our first guest. Do you need more leads for your business or service? well, of course you do. Every business does. It's our lifeblood, right? But are you tired of paying for leads that are questionable, leads that are low quality, or leads that you paid good money for only to find out that they've been sold to your competitors? Imagine having hot leads calling you instead of you calling them. Imagine having access to unlimited leads for pennies on a dollar. Since 2008, the TW3 system has been teaching professionals and entrepreneurs how to do just this, how to grow your business, how to get more leads for near nothing. If you want to grow your business, you owe it to yourself to check out tw3marketing.com. Again, that's tw3marketing.com. Turn your invoices into cash right now. Stop struggling with payroll, inventory pricing, and supplier bills. Let cashforinvoices.com put the money in that your customers owe you in your pocket now, not later. Go to cashforinvoices.com. Do you need money for your business? They have the cash that you need. Low rates, funding up to $5 million in as little as 72 hours. There's no guesswork. Bad credit is no problem. Bankruptcy is no problem. The pre-approval process is so very simple. Just go to cashforinvoices.com. All right, now I have Dawn Miller on the line. She is a speaker with John Maxwell. That's really awesome, and she's also doing a lot in the real estate market. Actually, you're set up in real estate in a few different states, and a former military member. We had that in common. So, Dawn, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me. I certainly appreciate it. I joke around and say that I have my flip-flops in the sand in Vail Beach and my boots on the ground in Texas. So for a while, I was definitely going back and forth between Texas and Virginia Beach. And I am here now in Virginia Beach and have been for 15 years. I joke around and say that the military actually got me here, and I found out that I was better in sales than being a sailor, but so I initially left Orlando, Florida. I was in the Navy Reserves and wanted to attempt active duty, and came up here and got my real estate license at the same time and said, ooh, like I said, I felt I was better in sales than being a sailor, and real estate is what kept me here. So I love it.
All right. Awesome. Now you're doing a lot in the John Maxwell as a speaker nowadays.
Absolutely, yes, I am. I love real estate and I love sales, and I'm super passionate about helping other people see and cease their dream and take their business from where it's currently at and where it ought to be. So it's just a natural flow or progression in terms of once you've been around in real estate as long as I have, then you really, you just have that, I guess, nurturing or that nature when, especially if you have the passion to help other people. So that was part of my growth plan. In 2015, I made a transfer from one real estate company to another, and I really got focused on mindset and leadership and helping training and coaching real estate agents. And a lot of people don't understand when you get your real estate license, man, you have your real estate license and you hang it at a brokerage, and that's all they give you is a place to hang your real estate license, and it's your own business.
Yeah.
So you come up with your obviously your own client. So.
Yeah. So speak to some of the challenges you ran into when first getting started in real estate.
Right. So great question. So obviously a lot of people listening to this will be looking at starting their own business, entrepreneurs. And I say you're in the business of real estate, and then you're in the business of sales for real estate. So you've got to find your own business. And 15 years ago, I mean, seriously, I moved up here. I knew one person and I didn't know the area. So I had to make friends quickly. And every conversation that I had with somebody, it was working conversation into the working real estate into the conversation, because think about it, everybody needs a roof over their head, right? I can help them either way.
So you're saying a lot of word of mouth is what you started off with?
Yeah, a lot of word of mouth. And again, anybody that you meet, just think about, and that's why I love being with the John Maxwell team. It's like when people first meet you, they want to know, here's the nugget bomb for you. When people meet you, they want to know three things. They're asking three questions about you. Can they help me? Can I trust them? And then, will I like them? Right. So you always come from contribution. It's like, hi, how are you today? And is there anything that I can help you with? Just start a conversation and see what their needs are from there. And, oh, by the way, a lot of times when you ask somebody, oh, by the way, what is it that you do? Right? Maybe I can help you. Know quite a few people. What do you do? And then it's natural in terms of that other person asking back, well, Dawn, what do you do? Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because guess what? I'm in a competition. I need to talk to 100 people today about whatever, real estate. I need to connect with 100 people today. Who do you know that's looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate? So it's a basic, basic question and making a connection with that person.
Right. Well, the thing about entrepreneurship, or I should say real estate, is that they have that commonality with you're an entrepreneur, you're in business for yourself, and every entrepreneur that I know of has had that moment where they're like throwing in the towel. They're like, this is not for me. Can you share one of those moments, and then what helped you move forward?
I'm so glad you brought that up, right? Because you had mentioned potentially brilliant, right? So we have a saying, and it goes in any business, everyone can, yet not everyone will. Like, we all have that power within us. And then, go and make it happen every single day. And even the greatest of the greats, a lot of my mentors and brokers throughout the years, have been very transparent in saying, man, yesterday was the day I was just ready to go ahead and just give it on up. Right. So it happens to the best of us. But how to I guess kind of deal with that as it comes up is I remember John Maxwell saying in one of his presentations for his coaches in August, where I attended one of his conventions, was if you've got a problem, you are a candidate for a miracle, right? So everyone's going to have challenges. And he said the only problem, what did he say? That the only problem that you should be worried about having is that you don't have a problem. When you don't have a problem, that's a problem right there, right? So
right.
Just every single day, just focus on small wins. A lot of people want to get up in the morning, they want to hit it out of the park. And guess what? We know Babe Ruth, right? His percentages, the greatest baseball players of all time, they strike out more times than they hit a home run. right? So when you focus on those small wins daily, you're taking the ball further down the field, if you will, or you're getting, to every single base, right? You're getting through every single base and you get to the home plate eventually. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I know you're the one asking questions, so let me throw the ball back in your court, if you will. So, the original question was, it's like when you have one of those days, you just want to throw in the towel, right? Right? Okay. Got it. So, I would say transparency is key as well. Being transparent. Another great insight somebody shared with me, a broker mentor. She's like, the strong struggle and the weak quit, right? So the only time you're failing is when you actually give up. So today's just another day to get it right compared to the day before, right?
That's right. That's a fact. Yeah, I definitely had my struggles, but whether it's circumstance or just sheer, being bullheaded enough to, or some people would say dumb enough to believe it. You keep moving forward, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. And one of the books, I was getting ready to hold it up. I forgot to ask if I'm seeing you face to face, but people are only hearing me. I was getting ready to throw the book up so you could see it at least. John Maxwell's one of his 100 personal development and leadership books. It's called Put Your Dream to the Test.
Okay.
And, there's a pop quiz in there. And one of the questions, it's true or false. So I'll ask it to you. You said you talked about being dumb enough to know that it's going to happen or not. So true or false, the dream doesn't always make sense or feasible in the eyes of others. True or false?
Oh, this is true. True.
Right. Yeah, because you're going to have your criticism. You're going to have people that believe that having your own business, being an entrepreneur, they just don't quite understand it. So it doesn't make sense to them. You know what makes sense to them? Salary, right?
Yeah.
You know what a salary means. You're not working for yourself. You're working for somebody else. And you're putting somebody else's dreams to the test, right? You're making somebody else's dreams happen.
Yeah. That's it's kind of become the norm, right? That people feel some people feel comfortable with that. They feel security. They feel like getting that salary means security, right? But that's not always the case.
Absolutely. And man, I am just so on fire over this book right now because the new year is coming ahead. And the book is called Put Your Dream to the Test, 10 questions or 10 categories to help you see and cease your dream, right? And a lot of times people's dreams are to have their own business. So I'm going to throw you a little thought here. In the book, John Maxwell talks about the three common costs of owning and operating your dream or having your business at the highest level possible. He talks about while the price that you pay for your dream, just like your dream is personal, I can't give you an idea of what the price to pay, if you will, for your dream, but there's three common costs, right? So the three common costs of seeing and ceasing your dream is 1, put in hard work, 2, overcoming your fear, and 3, dealing with criticism. So when we are talking about some people's idea or thought of your dream just doesn't make sense to them because what makes sense to them is a salary, you're going to have to put up with criticism. And just know that if you're putting in, number 1, the hard work, which we know everyone has to do, that your dream is going to come to reality, right? And there's so many fears. In having your own business. And one of them is just, number 1, going back to the hard work. And number 2 is then overcoming your fears, like trust in the process, right? Some people think like, oh my God, when is it coming? When is it coming? Yeah. When is it hitting? I'm going to give up, Well, let's take it back to the hard work. Don't be upset when you don't see the results for the hard work you didn't put in, right?
Exactly.
Every single day, small wins, meaning the hard work every day.
Yeah. It's when you said that, it reminded me, I had a conversation with somebody, or I was listening to somebody talk, and they said something, we're putting in the hard work, but then if you look in the mirror, did you really put in the hard work? Did you really work the way you would for your business? Forget, working for somebody else's business. This is your business. Did you really do the best you could? You know,
Mm.
and that's for some people that's a tough question. That's a tough
Oh,
question.
hey, you know what? That leads right into one of my passions, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's like you have to ask yourself the hard questions. What if you had somebody there alongside you that was your cheerleader, and then also your accountability partner as well, someone that believes the very, very best in you, knew you can absolutely positively get it done, right? And will let you know when you're not making it happen. See, that's what a coach does, right? That's what a coach does. So I'm super passionate about that. And being part of the John Maxwell team, I am working with coaches on a daily basis. I'm being coached myself, and they say a great coach will shine the light in the darkness. They'll shine the light in the cave and say, "Okay, did you really put in the reps? Did you really put in the reps? Okay, well, what got in your way? What happened?" And a lot of times, it's not about the skill set; it's about the mindset as well. So.
That's huge. That's huge. The mindset. Speak to me because you were kind of hitting on it, but you didn't say it, put it out there. So I'm gonna just throw it out there.
Yes.
Accountability.
Yes, accountability. So that's that's I think one of the top things coaches are tasked with, and people have to be okay with being held accountable. And a good coach will know what that looks like in their world. And I'll give you this thought, because we all have goals, right? And so a great coach will help you establish the goals, and then help you actualize them, if you will. Oftentimes I say, okay, well, what's your goal this week? Okay, well, what will happen if you don't make that goal, right? Because if goal doesn't equal actual, what's the consequences? Well, what do you mean the consequences are? We're adults now, right? What, we just throw consequences out the window. So if your kid doesn't clean their room, right, you can ground them. So how do we ground ourselves as adults? Yeah. So we put measures in place, measures of discipline as well. And sometimes that means doubling up on activities, or doing activities that you don't like, or taking away something that you love, right? So, or working on a Sunday when that's your off day. Gosh, how are you going to explain that to your family, right? Well, Mark didn't do what he said he was going to do this week, and he didn't show it to me either. So guess what? Or, hey, we're going to go to Disney World or Land or wherever when I make my goals, and everybody is looking on the Disney website, and guess what? A trip doesn't happen. So, yeah.
Yeah. That can be tough.
Yeah. Can I share just one thought? Just immediately came to mind.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. How crazy I can be, and accountability, comes in all forms. I can share with you some things that I've paid for, and some things that we can have accountability partners back and forth, right? So the highest level of accountability, of course, is with the coach, with somebody that you pay. You can solicit those. A mastermind group is huge. Think and Grow Rich, the book talks about surrounding yourself with a mastermind group. So two things real quick on accountability is one, I write affirmations daily, and that came from the book Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents. There's a series of things that you should do in the morning. And everyone talks about it. The mindsets of the millionaires is write your affirmations daily, right? And so I have an accountability partner for 7 months straight. I write my written affirmations. I take a picture of it to her, and I send it to her. Right. So that gets my day started off right. And I realized a number of years ago, we always talk about our one thing, like, what do we need to do in the morning, or what do we need to do in order to be successful? What's the one thing that we should be doing? And I thought, well, it's lead generating, right? I need to pick up the phone, and need to make phone calls. Right. And I was like, okay, well, when do I need to do that? In the morning. Okay, I need to do that in the morning. Then I realized I'm not a morning person. You know what I did? I got on Fiverr, Fiverr.com. I got on Fiverr. Mm-hmm. I put in a custom request for virtual admins, and I paid somebody to wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm an adult, like, how does that look? Ring, ring, ring. This is like we're in a hotel, and it's, wake up service. And of course, by the end of week 1, I realized how silly it was. I mean, she still got paid, and the crazy thing is, this this was back in 2016, and my world changed so much because I became a morning person. I realized that if I want to do more, if following this growth plan of helping other people see and seize their dream and taking their business to another level, I got to be a morning person. So I've been working with this same virtual admin since 2016, and she's actually in Jamaica, and she's going to be taking, guess what, the real estate licensing course and affiliating with Keller Williams down there. So,
Wow.
So that was a paid accountability. So
yeah, but that's huge. I mean, when you think about, so we're called Potentially Brilliant, right? And our tagline is break the shell, break out of that shell that's holding us back from our brilliance. And that is just an amazing thing where you changed your mindset, which is so hard for so many people, where they will just say, well, I'm just a morning person and that's it. I'm not changing. That's who I am. That's what I am. And if you don't like it, well, yada, 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 and so on and so forth. And then they wonder why they don't reach certain levels of success or certain levels of, things that they want, but they're not willing to pay the price.
Right. Yeah, absolutely limiting beliefs. And you'll be surprised. There's so many things that hold us back. And some people say, well, I just can't get to bed early enough, or I'm a night person, so that means I can wake up at so-and-so time. And this, book really put it into perspective, and their acronym was SAVERS. So, in the morning, this is what you need to be doing: silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing or writing, right? And so you look up anything in the morning habits or morning routine of millionaires, and they all talk about, 4 a.m. is the new 6 a.m. It's like you can't get up at 6 a.m. anymore. You got to be some people are working out. Yeah. And I think it was like Michelle Obama's working out at 3:45 in the a.m. Woo,
That's a paradigm shift right there.
Yeah. Just, you got to realize, you got to, I mean, some people work late at night. Some people only get 4 hours of, 3 hours worth of sleep, and they're still up at 5 in the morning. So, yeah.
I am loving this conversation, but we're running out of time. I do want you, if you don't mind, if you can, what books were you recommending again for our listeners?
Right, absolutely. So for the last 2 years, I've been associated with the John Maxwell Team, and he's only written about 100 books, so you better read all of them, right? No, I'm just kidding. The number one book that I'm really certainly on fire about right now, and it's a simple, easy read, and you have to do the work. And I can tell you that I will help you put in the work, because I can offer one-on-one coaching either around the book or around your business and or personal goals as well. But that book is by John Maxwell. It's called Put Your Dream to the Test, 10 questions to help you see and seize your dream. So I can do a group coaching around that as well. If there's somebody that wants to get anywhere between 4 and a dozen people together, face-to-face or virtually or one-on-one. It's called Put Your Dream to the Test. Another great book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I have it right in front of me. It says an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. I want to throw one more book out here because I absolutely love her, and I want to be able to share the podcast. Her name is Amy Moran, for all the ladies. Amy Moran, Morin. She has 3 books. One for the ladies is 13 Things Mentally Strong Women Don't Do. And that's the book. And real quick, so one of the things women that we don't do is we don't let others limit our potential. And that's why you've called the podcast Potentially Brilliant. So don't let others limit your potential. You got to deal with that criticism, overcome your fear. Everything we want is just over on the other side of that fear.
Yeah. And if our listeners want to connect with you, I mean, their information will be on the website, but if they're listening right now and they want to write it down, how would they reach out to you?
Absolutely. Everybody's online nowadays. You can search for me by Dawn Miller Homes. My first name Dawn, last name Miller, MILLER Homes. And my website specific to coaching is johnmaxwellgroup.com/Dawn Miller. And they should be connected with you. And if they're connected to you, then they will get connected to me. So I appreciate you so very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Dawn. It's been a pleasure having you on. Hopefully, we'll catch you as a guest in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate you so very much. Have a great day and great
Have a
week
great
ahead.
day. Absolutely. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Potentially Brilliant with Mark Ian Griffin. Inspiring, motivating, and educating entrepreneurs and professionals to break through barriers and see higher levels of success in life. There is brilliance in you.
Two years ago, I found the TW3 opportunity. I was in a bad place in my life, broke, busted, and disgusted. Had a failing business, was suffering with health problems, but I saw this business opportunity as something I could do, and I am so happy I looked at it. If you're looking for a work from home opportunity with a lot of potential and a lot of hype, that's been around for a long time and has a proven track record, go to tw3marketing.com. Again, tw3marketing.com. After being with TW3 over 2 years, I've made more money than I have in my last 50 years on this planet. Check out tw3marketing.com. GetHappyCredit.com. Hey guys, as an entrepreneur, financing was a huge thing to get me off the ground, and bad credit can definitely be a huge obstacle when trying to start your own business. Not only that, bad credit can leave you homeless, carless, and jobless. It can make it difficult to have a credit card or get a good loan interest rate. Not only that, insurance premiums, your ability to buy a house or even rent an apartment, buying a car, whether it's new or newer, or even getting a job. All of these things are going to be affected by your credit score. So go to gethappycredit.com. Again, that's gethappycredit.com. All right. Well, I have Early Jackson on the show today. Early has been doing a lot of great things. I met him, I think maybe like 13 years ago, and he was already speaking in the space, coaching. He's done a lot in the area of social activism. He has had an opportunity to speak at like the Philadelphia Board of Education, the University of PA, and a lot of other places. Without any further ado, let me introduce Early Jackson. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mark. I'm always excited to talk with you, and just grateful for the opportunity to share part of my story and impact people's lives.
Thank you, and that's really what I wanted to have you on the show, because I know you for someone who you take a lot of what you've gone through and who you are, and you have that heart where you want to impact lives for the better. So I really felt that a lot of people would really love hearing what you have to share.
Sure, yeah. I think that a few weeks ago I was at a high school and I was talking with some students, and I asked that question: how many believe that experience is the best teacher? And just about every hand went up.
Right.
And I said, okay, what if the experience is you fall down the steps and then the person behind you has to fall down the steps to learn the lesson that you learned? And they kind of looked at me. I said, so maybe, just maybe, someone else's experiences can be a better teacher, because I don't want to have to break my leg to learn your lesson.
Right.
So that's that's the passion behind why I do what I do. I mean, at 48 years old, I made some horrendous mistakes, and some life has taught me some really difficult lessons. And if I can shave some of those years off of somebody else's life, I'm willing to share it, man.
All right. Well, I think I told you a little bit. I don't want to really stifle your energy, so I will ask questions, but you've been doing this for a while, so and most of my listeners are entrepreneurs or people looking in that space. So what would you look to share? I mean, in the 20 minutes that we have, what would you want to share with those entrepreneurs, people who are dealing with fear or uncertainty, or what would you want to share with them?
I think at the top of my list, and at the time of this recording, I've been doing that, end of the year reflecting and spending some time with my wife, who's my business partner, and just kind of asking her, where could I have done better, or how could I have done better this year? And one of the things I would say to anyone, whether you're in entrepreneurial aspirations, or you're, in Cubicleville, just dreaming about the chance when you can run your own business, is go through and trust the process. And I know that sounds super cliche, as you've seen it on a bumper sticker, but process is a real intimate word for me, because process is the series of operations that produce a finished product. Series of operations that produce a finished product. And what I've learned in working in the furniture industry, working in the textile industry, is that cheap materials don't go through a process, because they're not even designed to last that long.
Wow.
I grew up in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia, much like New York and other big cities, you can go downtown and get a pair of Tiffany earrings for like $20, or a Gucci bag for like $30. And we know, if you get it, don't take it out in the rain, because you got one wear and that thing is gone. And that's because it hasn't gone through a process. It hasn't been treated.
Yeah.
In life, I think to wean out those that aren't willing to pay the price, life puts you through a series of process. And if you can endure that and stick around and show up when nobody's getting on your webinars, and show up and keep producing content when you got like 17 views on YouTube, if you can do that longer than the guy or the person around you, then you'll win. Because I believe that winning is reserved for the person that sticks it out to the end. But you and I kind of offline talked about, we live in this microwavable concept of society, where if I put it out on Thursday, if I'm not a YouTube millionaire by Saturday, I quit.
Right.
And that's not how life works. It's designed to take you through. And trust me when I say the process that you're going through is so needful. It's so necessary for where you're going. It's character development. It's rooting out all of the junk and gunk inside you that's preventing you from, or blocking you from stepping to that next level. The process weeds that out, so that when you get where you're going, you're humble, you're compassionate, you can't help but reach back and reach for others, because you know your journey.
Right.
And so I just say it's that process, man. If you can master the patience of the process, you can have the reward.
Yeah. I mean, when you say that is a concept that a lot of people really struggle with. Is process. They, when I do some of the stuff that I do on the coaching side, they want to get the tool, they want to get the bright shiny object, that sexy thing, because somehow, you remember back in the days when the Nike, the Air Jordans had first come out, and they had the little pump thing, and we swore that thing made us jump higher.
The Reebok pump, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
It's an illusion. It just it just constricted around your foot and made your foot tight. That's all.
Yeah, but we thought in our minds that we were, and they made millions selling those things.
Now think about what you just said, Mark. An entrepreneur right now that's listening to this podcast or this recording, earlier this day, they were on social media and they were looking at other, entrepreneurs, and they were feeling like the lowest of low because they weren't on a rooftop, drinking champagne. They weren't on the deck of a yacht. What they don't understand is the price and the process that went into that. Yeah. Because we can pick it up, and that's the funny thing. Nobody posts their failures. Nobody posts the event that only like 8 people showed up to, and they had a ballroom rented for the night, and this is their 4th one, and this is the one that should be, because we're all into these steps. And I coaches, well, my wife coaches, Mark, and so people will get on the phone and say, just give me 3 steps to better, give me 3 points to feel better about myself. And that's not how any of this works.
No. I'm gonna post this picture on the wall. That's not how this works.
Right. And affirmations and all that stuff, that's great. I got 3x5 cards on my refrigerator, on my mirror in the bathroom. But here's the deal: good quotes don't work unless you do.
I love that. It just, I'm in I just wow. It is so so true. I mean, the word says that people can look at themselves in the mirror and then turn around and completely forget. They look at these memes, they look at these things, and they say, "Oh man, that's deep, yo," and then they turn around and do the exact. I'm like, what are you doing? You just saw you just commented on this, and now you're behaving this way. Didn't?
And that's not to take away from like the entrepreneurs that travel and they go to the different conferences and the speaker cons and all those things. What you hear on stage for 20 minutes is a snapshot of a 10-year journey. And we are foolish to think that I can pay my $350 to get access. Here, you take my notes, and then I can go home and repeat and duplicate what you did.
Yeah.
Without the process.
Yeah.
They want all of that without the junk, without the, I don't want to be, betrayed. I want to be lied on. I don't want to have nights where I cry. I don't want my family to have to go through anything. That's not how it works. There's a price to pay for success. And unfortunately, we're dealing with a crop of entrepreneurs who really have not been taught that there is a price. And I think the reason why they haven't been taught is because people have monetized from their impatience.
Good point.
A lot of people are selling a lot of systems just because they know people are going to have to buy it because they don't want to go through it. When my youngest daughter was born, we used to go to, there was a store in Philly where you can go and buy diapers in bulk. And, I'm not, at the time I was a new dad, I was working, I was trying to launch a church, I had all this stuff going on. And one night at about 11:30, wife comes in and says, "Hey, there are no diapers in the house." So I, hop in the car and I go to the 7-Eleven, and for $7, I think I got like 10 diapers in a package. And I'm at the counter complaining in pajama bottoms and in a winter coat and flip flop. And the guy says, "Well, convenience costs, my friend."
Right.
And that stuck with me. And when I get online and I see all these people, hey, I can show you how to get 6 figures in 30 days. What you're about to do is you're about to pay a price for some convenience that's not going to really be a benefit to you 30 days down the line.
Yeah. And I see, I work I do a lot in the digital marketing space, a lot of coaching. And I just 2 weeks ago, I had a guy and he, wanted to work with me. And he was like, "So what's the plan? How do you get me to $10,000 next month?" I'm like, that's not going to happen. This is not a get rich quick. That's not going to happen. And we ended our conversation we ended that relationship because he had this, I guess somebody somewhere on the internet told him he was going to make in 30 days $10,000. I'm like, not without doing something illegal.
Right. Now I know a guy in Philly.
Right?
But do you know how many relationships don't get past the first coaching session with me because I have typically last year for some reason I went through this period where a lot of parents were contacting me for their kids who were in college and away from home for the first time, and they said they're really out of control. They need coaching to get them online. And I said, okay, well, I'll meet with you once, then I'll meet with them, and then we'll come back to each other.
Right.
So I meet with the parents, and they're just giving me a list, and he needs to do this, and he needs to do that, and he needs to clean his room, and and I said, well, that's not that's not the purpose of that's parenting.
Yeah.
That's not coaching, and what they want is they want someone to fix their kid in 2 sessions and make them an A student or focused on studying or getting their career together. And I said, unfortunately, this is a process. I can't undo 19 years of a life with no boundaries or consequences. And then you call me in to be like this drill sergeant. That's not my calling. I can't do that. And, we just end those relationships because they want results without the process.
Yeah.
And that's not possible at all.
Yeah. Man, it just, I mean, this theme, this thing of process, it's a huge thing where, you've heard the metaphors of like, gold having to go through a certain process, or diamonds have to have their coal, and then they have all this pressure. And now we have unfortunately we only have so much time. What would you say is like I said before, we're talking about entrepreneurs, and with process, I have this concept. I'm trying to verbalize it because so here's the thing. So most people have a problem moving forward in something because, like, especially if they're in a job, right?
Right.
And the job has already basically done the process for them, but they haven't had to. They don't see it that way. What they see is that they're just at the job and they're doing their job, but they've been at the job 20 years and they have this certain level of expertise that they didn't have in the beginning, but they never recognized the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so a person, when they become an entrepreneur, to be successful, they kind of have to, unless they're in something that has a structure already built for them, they have to learn a process. Do you know what I'm saying? That's a big struggle that a lot of them have, is they're going into a field that that's pretty new to them, right? And there's no boss or foreman or supervisor saying, okay, this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. You understand what I'm saying? So we say, hey, you have to have a process, but then I know a lot of these listeners are like, what does that look like? What would you say to that person who's like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know what that really means. I don't know what that looks like on a day-to-day basis.
So there are a couple of things that have to happen. One, you got to have a serious gut check. And if you're a person that needs micromanagement, chances are you're not going to be super successful until you address and change that character flaw. So you got to be able to work independent of praise, adoration, affirmation, all that, because in the real world of entrepreneurship, nobody's coming to give you a massage in the trenches today. You got to make it yourself. And not only do you have to get that gut check, but you have to be able to spend some time. Now, this is going to cut totally against the grain of what people are saying, but having a team is great. But at some point, you got to kind of seclude yourself so you can figure out what success looks like to you. then you can reverse engineer it and figure out what your process is. So if you're coming from a background working in corporate America and you were a team lead or project manager, chances are you've got supervisory skills, which means you can lead yourself. That's great. Now you need to figure out, what does success look like for me in my lane, and then figure out what that breaks down to on a daily basis. It looks, and to me, it looks like this. My son and I, my 20-year-old, moved back home. So he's, kind of revamping and readjusting his life and figuring out some things. And I asked him, I said, are you willing to pay the price for 6 months? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, all right, you come back here, but I'm not just dad. Let me coach your life, your finances, all that stuff. If you submit to that, and that's a real ugly word for people, if you can submit to that for 6 months, man, I promise you, your life is going to look different. And for some crazy reason, he decided to do that. So Sunday nights, 8:00, without fail, we have our goals meeting for the week. I put a chalkboard up. I said, boom, what do we need to accomplish? What do you need to accomplish this week? Well, I want to do this one. Well, those are just nice, but that's not a goal. And, we broke down what a SMART goal looks like and all that. We addressed his finances. Now, when we do that, that means you have to be totally transparent and be accountable. And that's the part that people don't like, is being accountable. Accountability isn't cute. It's not fun. If it's done right, it gets on your nerves at times, know? Yeah. So 25% of his pay was supposed to go to savings, and he was supposed to invest a certain part of it. So that meant every payday, he just sent me a screenshot of what he was doing. And I can honestly say, after 7 months of that, he's gotten a raise on his job. He's finished his first EP with 6 songs that are going to be launched in February for his very first musical project. Okay. Now, mind you, he's been working on this project for 2 years. It's done in 7 months.
Wow.
So, but that was putting structure in place.
Right.
And you can't Netflix and chill and be successful. You can't make excuses and make history. So if we're going to do this, I think that people, they aren't willing to go all in like they would for something. When you get a new job, your whole world changes. That first 90 days, you don't call out, you don't get the flu, you don't get sick, you don't do nothing because you want to make a good impression on this job.
Right.
But then you think, the first 90 days of entrepreneurship should include a bunch of meetings and brunches and, Skype calls and networking. No, you got to immerse yourself in it 100% and give yourself what you gave that corporation. And most people aren't willing to do that.
No, it's man, you brought up a lot of good stuff. I love the accountability piece, because, it's amazing. He had a quote unquote a goal to do something, and it really had not had any progress for 2 years. But then in 7 months of some accountability and structure, he now has these EPs, hitting the airwaves, or hitting the internet. And
what's funny, Mark? Let me just throw this in. Is I heard him talking to one of his friends that wanted him to jump on a song with him, and he's using a different language. So as he's talking to this guy, he's got him on speakerphone. He said, "Okay, so what's the ETA? When do you want to have this project done?"
Right.
And the guy was like, I'm just kind of, we just mess around in the studio. He said, okay, so what if we meet in the studio tomorrow? What are we supposed to accomplish tomorrow? How do we know if we won? How do we know if we hit it?
Yes.
So he's using a different language. And I said, now you got a foundation that no matter what you do in life, you can take that and roll that over and just keep duplicating success.
Your key indicators. Yeah. That's a whole other thing. But I love that, because it's another thing that he's seeing now, I'm assuming, is that when he collaborates with some people, he's going to have more or less a litmus test, right? Whether this guy is going to waste my time? Is he legit? Is he someone I want to do work with? Just because he talks big ideas, if he doesn't have a plan, if he doesn't have any structure, if he doesn't have any direction, probably not a person I want to work with.
Exactly. It's going to result in a bunch of frustration because somebody's going to submit to someone. Either the guy in the room is going to that has the plan, either you're going to fall in line with him, or if you're the one with the plan and they don't, they can pull you over their side and you'll throw your plans to the wind and just say, you know what, well, let's just get in here and just kind of network and see what happens. No, I can make money back. I can never earn back time that's been wasted.
Right. Oh man, we need more time.
Time. Speaking of time, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, man. Okay. I'm hoping that you'll come back on as a guest. This is really good.
Now that we've got the technical bugs ironed out, Mark, anytime, man.
Yeah, thank God for Zoom. I tell you what, that was a task. Okay, so your information is going to be on the website and on social media, but just kind of closing, what would you want to leave us with? How do they get in contact with you? They have questions.
Sure. So Instagram, it's early_empowers, and Facebook for the ancient folks like us that may still use it. You can find my coaching page is Life Coach Early Jackson. And I tend to put out at least, fresh content at least every other day, where I'm speaking, blogs. I like to take things that I've worked on, break it down, and kind of give some bite-sized empowerment for people. So Instagram and Facebook, you can catch me. Our website is earlyjacksoncoaching.com. Feel free to hit me up.
Awesome. Early, it's been a really pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show.
Anytime for you, Mark. I believe in what you're doing, man. Keep doing it.
All right. Talk to you soon. Okay.
All right.
This is Potentially Brilliant with Mark Ian Griffin. Inspiring, motivating, and educating entrepreneurs and professionals to break through barriers and see higher levels of success in life. There is brilliance in you.
Two years ago, I found the TW3 opportunity. I was in a bad place in my life, broke, busted, and disgusted. Had a failing business, was suffering with health problems, but I saw this business opportunity as something I could do, and I am so happy I looked at it. If you're looking for a work-from-home opportunity with a lot of potential and not a lot of hype, that's been around for a long time and has a proven track record, go to tw3marketing.com. Again, tw3marketing.com. After being with TW3 over 2 years, I've made more money than I have in my last 50 years on this planet. Check out tw3marketing.com. GetHappyCredit.com. Hey guys, as an entrepreneur, financing was a huge thing to get me off the ground, and bad credit can definitely be a huge obstacle when trying to start your own business. Not only that, bad credit can leave you homeless, carless, and jobless. It can make it difficult to have a credit card or get a good loan interest rate. Not only that, insurance premiums, your ability to buy a house or even rent an apartment, buying a car, whether it's new or newer, or even getting a job. All of these things are going to be affected by your credit score. So go to gethappycredit.com. Again, that's gethappycredit.com. And that is our show for today. I want to thank our guests, Dawn Miller and Early Jackson, for sharing and bringing value to the show. If you guys have any questions, you can always email me personally at mark@pb-radio.com, or you can hit us up through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or on the website. All right. And if you have a breaker story where you're breaking through a shell, I definitely want to hear that. All right. Have a great day. God bless. Talk to you soon.